Greetings. For those of you that are new to the channel, my name's Teacher T. I am an English teacher here in Thailand, and I think it's safe to say that I am a Royal Enfield fan. I currently make three styles of video. I make video vlogs where I travel around Thailand. I make video tutorials like we will do today, showing you how to replace the rear brake pads on this bike. And I also do video reviews on different brands of bike, different makes of bike, such as Harley Davidson, Honda, Kawasaki, you name it. So those are my playlists. If you have time, it would be very much appreciated if you would look at my playlist and watch some extra videos in return for your free tutorial today. Let's get into it. Thank you.
So the first thing we need to do is actually be able to recognize when we do need to change our pads. Can you see the difference? To the untrained eye, this is not an easy thing to do, so there are a couple of simple tests we can carry out. Test 1 is a coin test. A coin that's about 2 millimeters in thickness. I'm using a 10 baht coin here. You can use a 10p coin in England. It's a very snug, tight fit between the disc and the metal of the brake pad. This is indicating that it's near or about time to change the pad. On the other side, however, I've got plenty of room for the coin. That pad's got a little bit of life left in it still, and it's also indicating that I've got problems with my caliper because I've got uneven wear. I've got one side where the brake pad is really worn and the other side not worn as much. Look how much I can move the coin here. And the second quick test we can do is remove the lid and the rubber cap from the rear brake reservoir. And we're going to check the rubber top hat. If you look at mine, you can see that it's been extended. It's actually been sucked in. This is not correct, and this is another indicator that the rear brake shoes need replacing.
Okay, the tools that we will require today: a rubber hammer, a very narrow, thin screwdriver, which we're going to use as a punch, a normal size screwdriver, which we're going to use as a lever, a toothbrush, which we're going to use for cleaning, as well as the Scotch-Brite and the microfiber cloth. We definitely need brake cleaner and a long metal bar, which we're also going to use as a punch.
We also need brake parts lubricant. So we have decided that the pads do actually need changing. The first thing we're going to do is give the bike a clean and a wash. We don't want any contaminants getting on our new brake pads or on the pistons. So we're going to clean the bike with water. I'm going to wash it. So the bike's had a wash. I've cleaned it off quickly, cleaned off all the grub and the grime. You can see here I have a clean finger, but if I rub my disc, there, there's still a lot of contaminant and dirt on the disc. There. So it's not 100% clean. We're going to clean that with brake cleaner. I did struggle to get brake cleaner. I went to all the car part shops and all the motorcycle shops in town. Nobody had brake cleaner, which tells me one thing. I don't think they service brakes correctly in Chiang Rai. The brand of caliper is Bybury, which is a subsidiary of Brembo. So it's not that bad a quality braking system. But if you do listen, you can hear my pads grinding. And just for interest's sake, this is the bleed nipple. It's got a rubber cover which we can pop off. This is where we would bleed the brakes if necessary with new brake fluid. Today we don't have to do this, but if you want to know how to do this, just let me know in the comments. I will quite happily post a video if there's enough interest. Here is our split safety pin. To remove it, we just need to place the small blade of a screwdriver underneath the pin, press our thumb on top and pull it off. Simple. Just under the bleed nipple is the pin for the brake shoes, which we need to punch out. This is where we need to use the punch and knock that pin out with a small screwdriver, and that will take the locking pin out for the brake shoes to be removed. So the pin is removed enough to remove one side of the brake pads. It's very tempting to reset the pistons now, but what that doesn't do is clean the pistons, and the last thing I want to do is push dirt past the seal of the pistons. So I want to remove the brake pads first, and it is possible. They're definitely tight on one side, and this is the side that's wearing the quickest. There's still a little bit of life left in them, but I want to grease the caliper on the rails, get it working left and right a lot better than what it is. So here they are, my genuine Royal Enfield brake pads. I was a little bit worried because there's the part number 594715/A. I don't think that last letter matters. You would just have to order 594715. I think the last letter is what country you're in. A for Asia I'm in, you see. I think that's what it stands for. Maybe different pricing, you don't know. I was a bit worried because it says brake pad set front, and I definitely ordered them for the back. But I have checked them, opened them up, and they are the same as the rear ones. They're exactly the same. So we're okay, we're lucky that everything is going to fit the same, and you can see how much thicker meat there is on that brake pad. Actually, I'll go and get the other one to compare quickly. Hang on. There we go. They're exactly the same shape, but obviously the one on the left has got a lot more meat than the one on the right, and we do have to take this rear metal plate off and put it on the new brake pad. So I'm going to remove the second brake pad now just by pulling the pin all the way out. There she is, there's the pin out. This brake screw comes out easy because this side is not tight on the disc at all, so this one's coming out easy. And the reason why that is the whole caliper is on a sliding system. It should slide left and right like that. There we go. It's just not resetting itself very well. So that's telling me that the rails need lubricating. It's releasing the pressure on the inside, which is why the pads are good, but it's not releasing the pressure from the outside. It's not centralizing itself. So whether that's a design fault on the brakes, because the same thing happened on my Royal Enfield Meteor 350. Exactly the same thing happened. So maybe it's a design fault, I don't know. Normally you would take the caliper off and we would strip it down and grease it, lubricate it, but we just can't do that unless you remove the rear axle. It's all held with the rear axle bolt, and that's just too much work for me to do today. And also, if I took this to Royal Enfield to get my brakes changed, this is all they would do anyway. They wouldn't take the wheel off to change the brakes. So I'm sure I'm going to do a better job than what they would do anyway, to be honest. So now it's time for the brake cleaner. I'm going to get in there and clean everything out as best I can with a brush and some spray. And the crazy thing is, one shop today tried to sell me this to clean the brakes. Sonic oil. It's a bit like WD-40. Definitely do not get this anywhere near your brakes or anywhere near your caliper, because it will ruin your brakes. What we're after is brake cleaner. I looked high and low for this, and eventually I found it in Mr. DIY franchise for 79 baht. Bargain, less than £1.50. So that's what we need. It's like an alcohol spray that evaporates, strong, clean and quick. So there we go. Dedusting, protection, anti-rust. For motorcycles, cars, buses. There we go. So that's what we want. Brake cleaner. So I really want to get those pistons clean. It's so difficult to get in there without removing the caliper. But as I've already explained, it's just a very big job to do that. And it just upsets everything else on my bike, which I don't want to do. But I definitely want to try and clean the pistons before I push them back in. And there's just enough room to get the toothbrush in there. especially if we slide it backwards. There we go. Now definitely room now to get the toothbrush in there and get it cleaned up. So that's what we're going to have to do, and you can see the colour of the toothbrush. A lot cleaner than what it was. So the back plate just slides, and then it's just a case of unclipping it with a screwdriver, I believe. There we go. Back plate is off. There's my old pads. Some people do say use copper grease. I think that is old logic now. I think people are saying not to do it now. And to be honest, I tried to get some, and again, to no avail. I could not get any copper grease here in any shop in town. So they thought I was asking for something impossible and something stupid. But since I've done a bit of research, some people are saying now it's no need, because it can be a hindrance as much as a help. It's supposed to stop the brake noise a little bit, but I don't think we need to put it on today. So that's going to marry up with this one. Yes. So just a case of clipping them back on and sliding them up. There we go, it's done. All clean, all tidy, back plate fitted on the new pad. Now we've got to do the same with this one. So we're just going to push it to one side. Oh, I can't, it's locking. So we'll give it a clean. Yeah, it definitely needs a bit of a clean. It was stuck. So now it will slide, and then just put the screwdriver in and unclip it. Again, I'll clean the other side. Yeah, it's quite an effective cleaner actually. It just evaporates. So it's like a liquid which totally evaporates, which is why it's safe to use near the brakes. Slide them up and they're done. They're fitted. That's it. Job done. 2 new pads ready to go on the bike. And this is our pin. It's got like a collar at the end of the pin, which makes it a little bit difficult to remove. But it does lock it in place, and then to stop it definitely coming out, there's our safety pin right here. Everything's cleaned, so very soon I'm going to have to put the brake pads back in, and I'm going to have to reset the pistons and push them back in, because they are set for thinner brake pads, right? There's no way I can put thicker brake pads in with the pistons at that level. But at least the caliper is moving. I never appreciated how difficult this would be to film. So my rail is here, that needs cleaning. The pistons need cleaning. It's really difficult to get in there. So it's just going to be a lot of spray. That will pull the dirt through. The spray just evaporates, it just goes on its own. It does pull any dirt down with it. But that piston's definitely looking a lot cleaner, this one. I'm going to take the new brake pad on the inner side and fit it. It just hooks in at the front. Then I'm going to put the pin back in and just hold the rear pad in place with the pin. There we go, that's holding itself in place now. There's definitely not enough room to put the new pads in because the pistons are sticking out too much. Now I'm taking one of the old pads to put back in, to use it as a lever because it's thinner, to push those pistons back. Okay, the rear piston's out, but the inner one isn't. There. I've used the thinner pads as a lever and the pistons are right back in now. I hope that you can see that. I do hope that you can see that. The pistons have gone back in. That's the reason we've cleaned them first, because we don't want dirt going into the pistons. And now hopefully we can put the new pads back in. There should be enough room for the new pads to go back in. But before we do that, of course, we need to lubricate the rails. So I'm going to take the pin and the new pads back out one more time. Because I really want to lubricate this rail so the caliper can move in and out easily by lubricating here and lubricating the front rail with my special lubricant. This is one thing my local shops did have in stock and insisted on selling me: the Ceramaseal brake lubricant. Lasts the lifetime of the brakes, silences calipers, waterproof, will not wash out, extreme temperature range, non-melting and chemical resistant. Winner winner chicken dinner. So I think this is a bit like the copper grease. It does say not to get on the brake pad areas, but to rub it on the back of the brake pads, on the metal covers. So I'm just going to have to use the tip of a screwdriver just to get it where I need to go on the rails. It's definitely moving a lot easier, the caliper in and out, and that's just a case of putting the rubbers back on to cover up the rails. I just pulled them back, and hopefully you can see on the front rail there where I've put the lubricant as well. It's definitely moving a lot easier. I've definitely had uneven brake pad wear, so it's all moving a lot better than it was. So now it's time to reinsert the brake pads. I've been filming videos for YouTube for 8 months now, and I must admit this is the hardest one to film, just because of the access and the camera angles and the light. I do apologise. I'm doing my best, okay? I'm hoping you can see the pistons are a lot further back than what they were, and the proof in the pudding is the reservoir. The front reservoir is at a higher level now. So again, we've put some grease on the back. The pistons are back enough now that I can insert the new pads. So there's the brake reservoir. I haven't added any fluid at all. It was on the minimum level, remember? But since I've pushed the pistons back, it's risen. So a good indication that pads were worn. Just taking off the top and seeing if the top hat has inverted itself. It is important that this pinhole here is facing up. As we hammer it in and it comes on this side of the caliper, we've got the pin that we can put back in the correct location. So I just have to hit this pin home, this one has to be hit in, and this is where somebody's going to tell me off, but the only thing I've got long enough to hit that bar through the wheel is my socket extension, and I'm going to use a rubber hammer. Two new brake pads, two thick new brake pads, no noise. There's our split pin. and our hole is just there, which we lined up before, and it's just a case of inserting the split pin, pushing it down, and that's it. Job done. New brake pads. All we're going to do now is pump the pedal a few times to reset the pistons. I'm going to put the top hat back in before I pump the pedal. I just don't want any brake fluid going anywhere, but just popping it there like that should do. There's our top hat back in, and now I'm just going to pump the pedal a few times. You can see the level dropping again until the pistons reset. There, that feels good. We've got brake. So I don't need to add any extra oil. It was just the pads wearing that made the oil drop, made the top hat turn itself inside out. So if you're unsure of checking your brake pads, just take this reservoir cap off and check if your top hat is inverted. If it is, that's an indication your brake pads are wearing out. So that's the brakes pumped. There's a slight noise now, but nothing like there was before. The brake pads are all fitted, the discs are clean, the pistons are clean, the pistons have been reset, new brake pads have been aligned and fitted, the safety pin is back in, the brake pedal's been recalibrated. So everything's perfect. The only thing I need to do now is go for a test drive. It's getting quite late of evening now. I'm going to do that tomorrow morning. So for the next 50 kilometers, I do have to be careful. It's going to take 50 kilometers for those brake pads to bed in. So I do have to be careful that I don't have the stopping power that I did before with the old pads until they bed in. Tomorrow morning is here. I do ride the bike for the first few hundred meters with my foot on the back brake pedal just to get the brakes working and getting hot until they start to bed in. And here I am just travelling around Chiang Rai enjoying my new brake pads. My bike had completed 9,000 kilometers when I needed to change these pads, and I think the front ones need changing very soon also. So that will be a future video of myself changing my front pads. That process would be slightly different because the front caliper can be removed. I do hope that you found this video useful. If you did, please hit that like button, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to Teacher T. And if you're feeling extremely generous, you can buy me a coffee by pressing that thanks button. Until next time, ride safe and see you on a video soon.